Hey, Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are.
Good evening, mighty woman of God. I just wanted to come to you and give you a short message today, just about the red flags. Red flags of narcissism. There's plenty of them and everybody's are different. I know that the red flags that I had in mine, I'm going to kind of go over them a little bit. The first thing that I noticed as a red flag that I ignored was him going through my phone. It was a constant thing. Like he was obsessed with my phone. It was like he was looking every day to find something to devalue me with. And, I have a lot of investors and a lot of clients that are on my phone, and, sometimes they do get flirtatious, but every time he would look something up about anybody flirting with me or me corresponding, in a way that maybe he felt was inappropriate, it was on like Donkey Kong. Okay. That was like my number one red flag. Number two is he had no friends. Narcissists don't put value in people unless they can do something for them. So that was my other huge one. And as I said, people have different experiences, but with mine, he had no friends. I used to tell him that he doesn't know how to be a friend, because friendships are give and take in every situation. Marriages are give and take, relationships are give and take, friendships are give and take. So if they're constantly looking at people as just a source for them to gain something, they're not going to invest a lot into them. Investing in people takes time and it takes effort. The narcissist doesn't like to put effort or time into anything. They want the easy way out. So when it came to you, he saw value. He decided to invest in you because he saw something worth investing in. Whether that be money, whether that be a social status, whether that be sex, whether that be that you're a loving, kind, generous person, they go for the best. So don't ever think that you weren't good enough, sister, because I promise you that they go for the best of the best and what they think that they can go after. So there's nothing wrong with you. And I know that that's so hard to hear, because we want to think that we did something wrong, but we didn't. We were the best of the best, and they saw that we had a good giving heart, especially if you're an empath and you're extremely loving and, and you're wanting love and they want to mirror that love. And I know how painful this is. I've walked through it probably at least a good 4 or 5 times in my life until I was able to identify what it was. My other red flags were that when I needed to go to him to be comforted, when I had a bad day at work, or I had somebody that hurt my feelings, or needed some type of emotional support, he couldn't do that. He'd get mad at me, because I think he thought that it was about him and what he was getting. He would literally get angry at me, and it was just crazy to me. I was like, okay, I'm coming to you crying. I'm already down, and you're going to kick me again. That was my red flag number 3 that I ignored. Number 4 was that he was up my butt all the time. That's the best way to put it. It was texting, calling constantly. What are you doing? Where are you at? Just all the time. He had to know where I was at all the time, what I was doing all the time. Number 5 was definitely him putting cameras in the rooms. I'm even embarrassed to tell you that one. So it was audio he had set up in the room so that he could listen to what was going on in our bedroom when he wasn't there. And so at least it wasn't cameras, but it was definitely audio. So he knew what I was doing all day, and I talked to myself. I'm one of those crazy women that walk around praying and praising God, and I talk to myself all day long. I work from home, so that it's just one of those things that I've always done. I have a problem at work. I start talking to myself. It's the only way that I can hear myself talk so I can figure out the solution to the problem. So, at that point when I was becoming resentful and angry at him, he heard, I'm sure, all of it, I'm sure when his kids got on my nerves, he heard all of it, but that's my private security space. I'm the one who used to put a tracker on my phone. So if I left the house, he knew where I was going. I mean, I laugh at this now that, but that's a good laugh because, that's when you're free from it is when you can sit here and laugh about it. I laugh at myself for putting up with it. I laugh that he was so crazy that he would even do that to begin with. And then of course, the other red flags came down the road as far as just the devaluing and just, every little thing I did bugged him and, I couldn't do any right. It went from like, I was God status to like no status within 3 years. I want to say it was 3 years. And, and as I said, I had an unhealthy marriage prior to that with a narcissist. And I was like, I'm not going through this again. So, that point where he wasn't emotionally there for me was huge. And you can pull, when a man's pulling away from you and, it's just done, they've devalued you. Now they'll hold on to you because they're going to play with your mind, because it does become a push and pull addiction. So you do end up with that addiction part of it where you're just constantly just, I need them. But then you sit there and look at it and there's nothing about this person you even like, but yet you're like, I gotta have them. But it's so true. I mean, that's really, ladies, think about all the things that this person's done to you. Why do you want them? Can you think of one, if you made a list of the perfect man for you, how many of those things are they on that list? I guarantee you it's none. It's just, as I said, you're just addicted. You're addicted to the toxicity of it, and you've got to get clean of that. And that's a hard one because I know that, the sex is what it is and that attention and that's the thing that gets really sad is that for me in that relationship, that's the only love that I got. I didn't get the love during the day. I didn't get the validation at all during the day. It was all at nighttime at 9 o'clock when I was going, really, I kind of want to go to bed. But that was really the only way that I got where I felt loved from this person. I didn't feel loved any other way because he didn't know how to give it. He didn't know how to give love. And I remember him asking me many times, well, what do you need? What are your needs? And I'd answer them slowly because at the time I didn't even know because I'd just come out of a horrible marriage. So I had no idea what my emotional needs were. And so I was sitting here trying to express it to this person because I didn't heal from the last one and I couldn't. So I'm like, okay, we got to take this day by day, and try to figure out, what it is that makes me feel loved. I loved myself, I've always been like, I'm all that in a bag of chips because I know who I am, but I never, could express what I needed from somebody else. And obviously with me not being able to tell him that he couldn't reciprocate. He couldn't give. He couldn't, he just could receive. And I didn't know how to receive at that point. I do now. But yeah, there's just a lot of things that, we just don't think about until we're out of these toxic relationships. Well, I hope that my story helped you a little bit today and I hope you're blessed and we'll talk again soon.